While visiting my parents for my birthday, my father lit a cigar at the table and said, "You came out screaming and useless, and you've been a fucking burden ever since. If I had any spine back then, I would have left you in a dumpster." My mother just sipped her wine and said, "We all make mistakes." My sister rolled her eyes and said, "He's the reason I never wanted kids." Everyone laughed. I just looked at them and said, "You'll regret this sooner than you think," and left. That night, I made the choice I'd been avoiding for years. 3 weeks later, they were outside my building screaming my name. My door cam caught my father punching the wall, my mother crying for the first time, and my sister trying to kick the door in. Hey everyone. Before we dive in, I have a quick favor to ask. If you enjoy content like this, please hit the subscribe button. It's free, supports the channel, and ensures you never miss out on amazing videos. Alright, let's get started. So I've never written one of these, but I'm still kind of buzzing from what just went down, so whatever, here goes. Maybe someone will get a laugh out of it, or maybe you'll just think I'm an ass, but T-Bah, I kind of don't care anymore. Anyway, if this sounds weird or messy, that's just how I type, sorry. So yeah, I had to go back to my parents' place for my birthday this year. Not that I ever want to. I usually just make up some excuse about work or whatever, but my grandma, she's in assisted living now, was supposed to call in on Zoom, and I figured whatever, I'll eat some bad cake, show my face, bounce before anyone gets really drunk. I even wore a button-up so they wouldn't have anything to pick at right away. All big mistake thinking that would help. I pull up and immediately there's this weird energy. House is all quiet, which is not normal. My sister Miranda's at the kitchen table with her laptop, headphones on, looking like she'd rather be at the dentist. My mom, Cora, already has a half-empty glass of wine, and the bottle sitting right there like it's a prop. Dad, Roger, is in the backyard smoking a cigar, which is his version of rolling out the red carpet, I guess. I should have known it was going to be weird when even the dog wouldn't come over to say hi and just sat in the laundry room. Anyway, I try to start things off, ask how everyone's doing, but they're all kind of short with me. Miranda gives me that look like, "Why are you talking?" Mom just shrugs and says something about the weather. Dad finally comes in, blows smoke across the table and says I look tired. Maybe I should try working out more instead of sitting in front of screens all day. I just laugh it off, but it's whatever. I'm used to it. They've always had this thing where I'm the soft one, mostly because I didn't want to play sports or whatever. I think my dad's always resented that, and my mom just goes along with whatever he says. Miranda, honestly, she just likes being on the winning team, if that makes any sense. So we sit down to eat. I can't even remember what it was, something bland. Nobody really talks, except for the usual. My mom saying I should try networking, Miranda rolling her eyes and asking if I'm still single, Dad making some joke about real men and not being able to fix anything. I start to get this feeling like, why am I even here? But then my grandma's call is supposed to come in, so I'm just counting down the minutes. Except Grandma doesn't call. Apparently her nurse called earlier and said she wasn't feeling up to it. So now there's literally no reason for me to be there except to get roasted. And like, everyone just gets meaner. Dad starts in about how expensive it was to raise me, how I never paid him back for all the things he had to do. He says I've got no hustle, and that if he'd had any guts, he would have left me in a dumpster. Mom just sips her wine and smiles, says, "We all make mistakes." Like she's reading a line from a script. Miranda doesn't even look up, just says, "I'm the reason she never wanted kids." They all laugh, not even a fake laugh, just this ugly, loud, real laugh. I don't even know what to do for a second. I've always known they didn't like me, but I thought maybe it was just the way families are. But this, on my birthday, I look at them and all I can think is, I could just walk out and never talk to them again. But I say, "You'll regret this sooner than you think." I don't even know why I said it, it just came out. Dad says something about me being dramatic, Mom waves her hand like I'm a fly, Miranda just grins. I stand up and my chair scrapes across the tile way too loud, and I don't even care. I grab my jacket, and as I'm leaving, Dad blocks the hallway and tries to get in my face, starts saying I'm not allowed to disrespect him in his own house. I tell him to move. He doesn't. So I push past him, shoulder into his arm. He tries to grab my wrist, but I pull away and he almost falls into the wall. Mom yells at me to apologize. I just keep walking. I hear Miranda slam her laptop shut and stomp off after me, says I'm being a child. I don't even look back. As I'm leaving, I hear something crash in the kitchen. I think it's a plate, maybe the wine bottle. I get in my car and just sit there for a sec, hands on the wheel, trying to decide if I should just go get a drink somewhere or just drive straight home. I check my phone, bunch of missed texts from a group chat that includes some family friends. I don't answer. I just start the car and leave. When I get home, I realize I left my hoodie at their place. Normally I'd go back, but screw it. They can keep it. I order some pizza and just sit there thinking about how every birthday has always sucked. I start making a list in my notes app, just out of spite, ways I could really piss them off. Most of them are stupid, like hiding the remote or changing all the Wi-Fi passwords. Then I start thinking about how much they actually depend on me for stuff. Stupid stuff, but stuff that actually matters. Miranda's car, for example, is in my name because her credit sucks. Mom's side hustle website, I built it. I run it. She's never learned how to even log in. Dad's whole retirement project is basically only running because I set up all his spreadsheets and online stuff. They act like I'm nothing, but they'd be up a creek if I ever just stopped. And the thing is, I've never really thought about it that way before. I always just did what they wanted, even if they made fun of me. But now, after tonight, I'm just done. I'm not going to sit there and take it anymore. I'm not just going to walk away. I'm going to make sure they feel it. I stay up late just thinking, scrolling through old messages from my mom where she's asking me to fix things for her, or Miranda blowing up my phone about some bill or whatever. I start screenshotting everything. I look up how to get my name off Miranda's car loan, what I have to do to pull admin access from mom's site, what happens if I just let dad's project crash. I make a whole plan, and it feels kind of good. NGL, not even because I want to hurt them. Okay, maybe a little, but because I'm just so sick of being the family doormat. I guess it's weird to say, but I don't even feel nervous. I just feel done. Like this is it. This is the last time they get to talk to me like that and get away with it. No more free tech support. No more covering for their mess. No more being the butt of every joke. Next morning, I wake up to like a dozen texts from Mom and Miranda, all passive-aggressive, but none of them actually apologizing. Dad sends me a voice memo that's mostly just him breathing heavy and saying I better man up and come fix things like a real son. I delete it. I start making calls. I start changing logins. I start pulling every string I have. I'm not backing down this time. They want to see what happens when I'm not their personal punching bag? Fine, let's see how they like it. I'll update if anyone cares. But either way, I'm not stopping now. Update 1. Alright, here's part 2 since a bunch of people actually cared and DM'd me to update. This one's going to be long and messy and probably make me sound like a jerk, but I'm not even sorry. If you missed part 1, my family turned my birthday dinner into a roast and I just noped out, told them they'd regret it, and started plotting. I wasn't playing. So the funny thing is I thought when I finally snapped like that, I'd feel kind of relieved or whatever. Like, my whole life I've had this idea that you just eat crap from your family because you owe them, right? Blood is thicker, blah blah. But after that dinner, I just felt not even mad, more like I finally saw it for what it was. They treat me like the backup plan. Dad always made it clear he wanted a real son, and he never hid that. He's the kind of guy who brags about not needing anyone, but then calls me at midnight to fix his phone. Mom's just along for the ride, always has been. Miranda, she's just better at playing the game, huh? She acts like she's above it, but she's just as in it as them. Probably worse, sometimes. I guess that's why I didn't feel bad for what I was about to do. The first weird thing was how quiet they got after the dinner. Usually if I skip a family thing, my phone blows up with texts and guilt trips. This time, nothing, for a day. Then I start getting these random questions. Mom asks if I can remind her about the website stuff. Miranda texts some passive-aggressive thing about her car insurance and how it'd be great if someone could actually be helpful for once. Dad just sends me a meme like nothing happened. I just leave them on read. I don't even bother to answer. Felt weird at first, then kinda good. So here's the deal with my family and why they depend on me more than they'd ever admit. Miranda's car is technically in my name. Her credit's trash. Her ex tanked it. Not my problem. So she needed me to get the loan. I make the payments. She Venmos me her half. But she's always late. Mom's little business is all online, and she never bothered learning how to update the site or answer customer messages, so I've basically been her unpaid IT guy for years. Dad's side project, some weird online thing he brags about to his old friends, only runs because I set it up, manage the login, and do all the stuff he can't be bothered to learn. They all act like it's nothing, but I know for a fact if I stopped, the whole thing would just break. So after the dinner, I made a list. First thing I did was check the car loan info. Turns out I can take my name off, but it's a pain. Gotta call, send some paperwork, pay a stupid fee. But whatever, I start that process. Miranda texts me 4 times in one day, asking for the login to the loan portal. I tell her to call customer service herself. She sends me a paragraph about how I'm making her life harder on purpose. I just leave it. She starts getting more intense, sends me caps lock texts, threatens to come to my place and make me fix it. I just mute the chat. Next up, Mom's site. I log in, change the admin settings, and set a 30-day timer for her access. I send her a message that I won't be handling her emails or site stuff after that. She replies with a sad face, then a long guilt trip about how she's just a mom trying her best. I tell her she can hire someone. She says she can't afford it, which is funny since she always brags about her side hustle at family parties. She calls me 3 times one night, leaves a voicemail where she's crying. I don't answer. I'm not trying to be cold, but I'm done. I'm not the family tech guy anymore. Dad's the trickiest. He's always been the tough love guy, but he hates when people see him fail. I wait until he texts me asking why his stuff isn't showing up online like normal. I tell him I'm not dealing with it. He calls me, starts yelling about family obligations and how I'm a spoiled brat. I hang up. He calls back and leaves a voicemail that's just him cussing and then slamming something. Maybe a door. I screenshot everything and save it, just in case. Now here's where it gets kind of funny. They all assume I'll cave eventually. Mom texts my aunt, who calls me and says I should forgive and forget. Miranda posts some vague stuff on Instagram about fake family. Dad tries to get one of his friends to call me, some guy I haven't seen since I was a kid. I just block the numbers. My friends think I'm being dramatic, but honestly, I think I'm just finally standing up for myself. There are some setbacks. Miranda finds out she can't refinance the car alone and freaks out. Sends me a voice note basically crying and saying I'm ruining her life. I get that little twinge of guilt, but then I remember her laughing at me at the dinner, and it goes away. Mom's site starts glitching because she tries to fix stuff herself and just makes it worse. She asks me to just fix one thing and I say no. She slams the phone down so hard I hear it. Dad, meanwhile, starts showing up at my place. I don't let him in. He knocks so hard the neighbors come out and stare. I keep the blinds shut. One night, I get a text from Miranda that she's outside. I open the door just enough to see her. She's got this look like she's about to slap me. She tries to push past me, says she needs her car paperwork. I tell her to back up. She tries to shove me. I step aside and let her stumble into the wall. She screams at me, says I tell her to leave or I'll call the landlord. She slams the door so hard, the frame shakes. After that, it's just a parade of drama. Mom calls from a different number, crying. Dad sends me a letter, which I just toss. Miranda tries to get into my building by buzzing random neighbors. I warn the building group chat, so now everyone's just ignoring her. I start getting random calls from numbers I don't know. I just block them all. The funniest part is, nobody actually apologizes. All they do is blame me for ruining everything. It's wild how quickly people turn when you stop being useful to them. I start sleeping better, tibahach. Not because I'm happy, but because I don't have to worry about them texting me every 5 seconds about some stupid problem. I start focusing on my own stuff for once. The only thing I didn't expect. My aunt starts messaging, saying people are talking about me at family events. Apparently, Mom and Dad are telling everyone I just lost it for no reason. I send my aunt screenshots of the text just so she knows. She doesn't believe me at first, asks if I'm exaggerating. I tell her to come see for herself. She backs off after that, stops calling. So yeah, it's not like I feel free or whatever. It's just quiet. I think they're realizing I'm serious for once. I'm not the backup plan anymore. If they want something, they can figure it out themselves. The last thing that happened before I posted this, I got a letter from the car loan place saying my name is off the account. Miranda's gonna have to figure out her own mess now. I got an email from the site host saying Mom's account was changed to basic, so now she can't update anything without paying. Dad's stuff is still broken, not my problem. I don't know what's next. I feel like they're not done, but I'm not backing down. If they want to see how hard I can push, they're about to find out. I'll update if anything wild happens. Knowing my family, it probably will. Update 2. Okay, so here's part 3, like I said I would do. And yeah, stuff escalated way past what I thought. Not even sure where to start because NGL, it's been wild watching people who always acted like they didn't me suddenly act like their whole world is falling apart now that I'm just done. If you're new, short recap. My birthday dinner was a disaster. My family roasted me. I walked out, and I started actually pulling back everything I used to do for them. Not just ghosting, actually taking my name off stuff, cutting off their free labor, and letting them deal with their own mess. So it's been about 3 weeks since all that. I kind of expected things to go quiet after I blocked their numbers and stopped responding to every emergency text, but nah. These people do not give up easy. First weird thing, I started getting random calls from numbers I didn't recognize. Then like weird emails from my mom's business account, even though I already transferred everything out of my admin. Every time I see a notification, I get this little jolt thinking, is it going to be another guilt trip or a threat? Sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's just plain desperate. I started noticing it when my building group chat started blowing up. Someone posted a screenshot of a woman crying in the lobby, asking if anyone knew her. Yep, my mom. She actually came to my building and just sat downstairs hoping I'd come out. The neighbors were confused. A couple even tried to help her, but she just kept saying she needed to see her son and it was an emergency. I never went downstairs. I just watched it all play out on the security app, headphones in, pretending it was just background noise. Later that day, my sister texted me, this time from a new number, saying I was being cruel and immature and that I needed to fix what I broke. I blocked that one too. Then my dad decided to go full caveman. He showed up, banged on my door so hard I thought the hinge would snap. He was yelling my name, calling me every insult under the sun, and then tried to get the neighbors to let him in because he forgot his keys. The dude does not even live here. At one point he actually punched the wall by my door and I caught it all on my door cam. Angel, it was kind of satisfying just sitting there watching him lose his mind. I could hear my mom crying in the hall. Like not that I'm sad crying, but that I'm desperate and embarrassed crying. I kind of wondered if anyone on my floor was going to call the cops, but nobody did, maybe because everyone knows what family drama looks like by now. Miranda was the worst, though. She tried to kick my door in, literally. She was yelling about how I was ruining her life and that I owed her for everything she did for me. I asked her through the door what exactly that was, and she just screamed that I was born wrong. After a while, I just sat on the couch scrolling Reddit, letting them do what they wanted. Eventually, they all left, probably when they realized nobody was letting them in. The aftermath was just as messy. My mom started texting family friends telling them I'd lost it and was acting out of character. One of her friends, who I barely know, actually emailed me asking if I was okay and saying my mom was worried. I sent her a screenshot of the text from the birthday dinner and said, not really. She didn't reply after that. I guess word started spreading because I got a couple more weird messages from people asking if I was having a breakdown or if something bad happened. Nobody asked what my family did, though. Funny how that works. The real fallout, though, was money. Miranda's car got flagged for missed payments as soon as my name came off the loan. She tried to blame it on me, sent me like a dozen Venmo requests for random amounts. Then when I didn't answer, she posted some dumb story on Instagram about fake family. Mom's site fell apart almost immediately. I started getting auto emails from old customers who couldn't get in, asking what happened. I just replied, I don't work there anymore. Dad's project basically died on the spot without me doing the busy work. He tried to get one of his buddies to call me and reason with me, but it was just more of the same old guys talking about family duty and don't air dirty laundry. I told him to tell my dad to stop showing up at my place. Social stuff hit them too. Apparently, Mom stopped showing up to her club meetings because people started asking why her site was down. Her friend group started shrinking because she couldn't spin the story anymore. And I guess some people finally realized she was lying about family drama. Dad's friends started making jokes about his failed project, and I heard from a cousin that he got into an argument at some cookout when someone brought it up. Miranda lost a bunch of her followers. She's always trying to be an influencer, lol. After she started posting more angry stuff, someone even commented asking if she was okay. She blocked them. I started getting letters, like actual handwritten notes. The first one was from Mom, just begging me to call her, saying she was sorry but then immediately blaming me for hurting the family. I tossed it. Then one from Dad, which was just a rant about respect and being a man. I didn't even open Miranda's envelope, just recognized her handwriting and threw it out. At that point, I stopped checking my mailbox for a couple days. Felt like I was living in the 90s. Neighbors started asking questions, too. I had to explain to one guy that no, my family wasn't stalking me, I just wasn't talking to them. Awkward, but whatever. Another neighbor said my dad tried to offer him money to let him up into the building. I just laughed. The building manager finally sent me an email asking if everything was okay and if I needed to file a complaint. I told her thanks, but nah, just family being family. The craziest part was how fast everything fell apart for them. I always thought they'd figure something out, but nope. Turns out when you lean on one person for everything and then treat them like trash, you end up with nothing. I know that sounds harsh, but I honestly don't feel bad. I'm not responsible for fixing their mess anymore. They're adults. They can figure it out. One last thing. After the big blow up at my door, I got a text from an unknown number. It was my aunt, saying she heard what happened and that I should be the bigger person. I told her to talk to my mom and dad instead. She stopped texting after that. So yeah, that's where it stands. My family's out of my life. Their drama is finally catching up with it, and I'm not running back to fix anything. I'm not even sure what comes next. Probably more begging, maybe another scene in the lobby, who knows. Point is, I'm not backing down. If you're reading this and thinking I went too far, I get it. But after years of being the backup plan, the tech guy, the one who gets blamed for everything, I'm finally just done. I'm not here to patch things up. They wanted to see what happened when I was gone. Well, they're seeing it now. I'll keep you posted if anything even crazier happens, but for now I'm just keeping my door locked and my phone on Do Not Disturb. Final update. So yeah, here's the end of my saga, or at least the main part. NGL, I thought things would kind of just fizzle out after the blow up in my hallway, but LOL. I guess I was giving my family way too much credit. If you read the last post, you know my dad was out here hitting my wall like a cartoon. My mom was doing her best TikTok cry face in the hall, and Miranda was seriously out here trying to boot my door in like it's cops. I didn't answer, didn't open the door, just sat on my couch and watched the notifications pile up from the security app. Not even going to lie, it was almost funny watching them lose it in real time. I thought after that they'd just go home and stew and talk trash about me behind my back to the rest of the family. Maybe try to get some sympathy with some big story about how I turned on them. But nope, they kept pushing. The next morning, I wake up to like a dozen messages from numbers I don't know, plus a couple voicemails from my aunt and some family friend who's never even liked me, all saying stuff like, just talk to your mom, and family is all you have. I didn't reply to any of it. I just blocked every number. New rule, if you're not already in my phone, you're not getting through. I even muted the family group chat that my cousin started, just in case. A few days go by and it's weirdly quiet. Like too quiet. I almost start to think maybe they gave up. But then I get a knock. Not my parents this time, just my building manager looking awkward and holding a clipboard. She says, so we've had some complaints about people hanging out in the lobby and your name came up. I just shrug, say, yeah, that's my family. They're not supposed to be here. Sorry about that. She nods, says they've been told not to come back unless they're visiting someone on the lease. And that was that. I guess there's some policy about loitering and disturbing residents. So now my family can't even get into the building without someone letting them up. I'm fine with it. And GL, it actually feels good to have a rule on my side for once. After that, I notice my mom stops trying to call. Instead, she sends long emails, most of which end up in spam. The first few she's begging me to help with her website, saying everything's a mess, she can't get any orders through, and she knows I'm mad, but please just fix it. Then it turns into, you're hurting the family, and this is all your fault. Classic Cora. switching from sweet to guilt trip in 2 sentences flat. Miranda tries a different angle. She messages me on every platform, text, Snapchat, even LinkedIn, which is wild because she's never used it before, and her profile pic is like a selfie from 2018. She starts off saying she needs my help with her car stuff, then when I don't answer, flips to all caps, then to saying she's going to show up at my work and make a scene. I just block her everywhere. No interest in the drama. Dad, though, is a whole other level. He starts showing up at places he thinks I hang out, like literally going to the coffee place down the street and asking if I've been in. My buddy works there and texts me, says, "Yo, your dad just came in and asked for what's up." I just say, "Don't worry about it. He's not dangerous, just annoying." Then Dad actually comes to my work building one afternoon and tries to get the front desk to let him up. He sits in the lobby for like an hour before security tells him to leave. I find out later he tried to say it was a family emergency. I never even saw him, just got a heads up from the front desk and ignored it. The only time I actually see any of them face to face after that is when I run into Miranda in the grocery store. She's standing at the end of the aisle, sees me, and just goes off, says I'm ruining everything, says I'm a coward, says I owe her for all the time she stuck up for me. I tell her we're done, I'm not her backup plan, and she should grow up. She tries to slap me, but I step back and she just ends up hitting my shoulder. She storms off, slams her cart into a display, and leaves. A couple people stare, but nobody says anything. Honestly, at this point, I expected to feel something, like maybe some guilt or maybe some satisfaction, but it's just nothing. Just a blank spot, where I used to stress about their texts or whatever. I'm not happier, not really, but I don't have to check my phone every 5 minutes for some new crisis. Over the next couple weeks, I hear things from the edges. My aunt tells me Mom's business is basically dead now. She can't get the site back up, lost a bunch of customers, and stopped going to her club since people started asking questions she couldn't answer. Dad's side project is gone too. Nobody's talking about it anymore, and he's apparently been telling people I screwed him over, but nobody really believes him because everyone's seen how he acts. Miranda's car got towed. Guess she missed too many payments. She's posting even more angry rants online, but nobody really cares. One of her old friends DM'd me to say she's burning every bridge trying to make me the villain, but people are just tired of it. I get a couple more guilt trip letters in the mail, then nothing. I block every new number that tries to reach me. I stop answering aunts and uncles unless it's about random family news, and even then I keep it short. If anyone tries to bring up my parents or sister, I just say, "We're not in touch," and move on. The only real consequence for me is now I have to do my own taxes and fix my own stuff when it breaks. But honestly, I'll take that over being the family punching bag. I started hanging out with a couple friends more, people who actually care if I show up or not. I even started talking to my grandma's nurse more, just to keep tabs on her, since she's the only one in the family who ever acted like I mattered. Sometimes I wonder if I went too far. But then I think about all those years of being the guy everyone dumped on, and I just shrug. If they want to fix things, they can do it without me. I'm not going to be the one to reach out. I'm not going to patch up what they broke. Last thing, about a week ago, Dad tried one more time to get in touch. He actually waited outside my building, cornered me when I was coming back from the store. He looked tired, like he hadn't slept, but he still tried to get in my face, said I needed to be a man and fix what I broke. I just told him to leave. I wasn't interested, and if he came back again, I'd call security. He tried to push past me. I pushed him back, and he just glared at me, then walked off. Didn't even try to argue, just left. So yeah, that's where it stands. My family's out of my life. Their mess is their own now, and I don't have to deal with their drama anymore. It's not some perfect movie ending, but honestly, I don't need one. I just need peace. If anyone's still reading, thanks for sticking with it. I don't know if things will ever really change with them, but I know I'm not going back. Not for anything.